Am I in the background?
No.
Oh.
We're live.
Oh. Let me show you.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? It's time for Midweek Motivation Live. I hope y'all are doing well. It's a beautiful day in downtown Amarillo, Texas. We are troubled about a few things. We're going to talk about local events, things that are going on currently in our area, small business, family, a lot of things that are on my mind that I want to talk to you about today. And we are going to do that right after we come back. You guys know the drill. We'll be back right after our intro, and we'll jump into it today on Midweek Motivation Live. I hope everyone is doing well today. Good to see people already tuning in, commenting on the show. Good morning, Larry. Good to see you all the way out from the Oregon coast. My buddy Sal down south. Good to see everyone tuning in already today. Don't know if you can hear this. You may be able to hear the fire trucks outside in the distance. We're on the 18th floor, downtown tower, First Bank Southwest Tower. Studio 1, my office, I like to call it. I've got the windows up behind us, the blinds open. You can see a little bit of smoke behind us that way to the south, which is a little odd. Here in Midweek Motivation Live country, Amarillo, Texas, we are currently experiencing wildfires north, west, north, and northeast of town in multiple small towns. Fritch, Canadian, Panhandle, Stinnett. Many people have lost their homes. We had an incredible windstorm the past 2 days, and some fires got started and whipped up, and they're nearly impossible to control when that happens. And I want to talk about that a little bit today. So last night when I left the office, it was about 7 o'clock heading home, and about 10 or 12 minutes after 6, you started seeing the smoke rolling in from up north. We had been monitoring the fires most of the day and some the day before. And we know people personally that have lost their homes. Many people have had to leave animals behind. People were rounding up trailers and horse trailers and cattle haulers to move livestock and horses and cows around, those that were able to. There were people that were not able to do that in the area. I know that the city of Stinnett was hit pretty hard. The northeast side of Fritch so far has been hit pretty hard. Canadian area, the town of Canadian, east of Panhandle has been hit pretty hard. And we even have fires on the northeast side of Amarillo outside of city limits that have been encroaching on us. And we've had news stations urging people to evacuate, or in some areas, we have total highways now around towns that are closed down, and they are being recommended to hunker down and evacuate in place. Basically, just not evacuate, but just stay put, hose down your house as best as you can and the property all around you, soak everything down. But yeah, the city fire departments, the county fire departments, the state, everyone has been involved. And the governor, Texas, Governor Greg Abbott yesterday declared the area a national disaster or a state disaster area. So we are going to be getting funds to help people in the area. Some other agents and myself have my first request to everyone yesterday on social media was just to pray for the area, for the weather, for rain to come, for the winds to stop, and for the firefighters to be able to get these fires under control. Now, let me tell you, of course, that these fires are not new to the Panhandle region of Texas. Amarillo is known as being the windiest city in America, legitimate, strong, sustained winds, and it's been a very, very dry season. And this happens every couple of years. every 2 to 3 years. Now, the city of Fritch was ravaged by fires just a couple of years ago. They went all the way up one side of the lake, around the lake, back down the other side, and then came back around and burned the other side of Fritch that had not previously burned. Many people lost their homes and were displaced in that fire. And the Panhandle area of Texas does have fires every couple of years that are pretty big, and people lose homes and livestock. We are hardy people and we are prepared for it for the most part. And the best thing yesterday that I can say about all of this is the outpouring of love and support through text messages, group chats on Messenger, social media. Everyone is rallying the troops to help people. The people in this area are so committed to their neighbors and friends, the people that they know, love, and trust, and they want to help. So there is an outpouring of people offering trailers, empty horse stalls. Bring your horses, bring some cows, bring them to our property. We've got some property that's open. You can bring them here. We don't have horses or cows anymore. You can bring your animals here. We have pasture, we have barns, we have fields. You can bring those. We have people now that are rounding up supplies all over the region, just individuals that know everybody. And we put out these messages, and it's like, what can I do to help? I have friends that have multiple Airbnbs, and they have families that they are putting up in their rent properties and their Airbnbs, because it's a bed. And some people have lost everything that they have owned in these fires. So I would like to urge you all to continue to pray for the region here. Yes, Marlene, sending prayers. And for you too, Marlene, my assistant, amazing agent, and great friend, just had a surgical procedure done recently, and she is recovering very well. Super happy for that. And the outcome is going to be amazing for her. Thank you. But yes, I'm watching the viewership going up and down, and now it's going back up. As we talk about these things, people never know what they're going to get on Midweek Motivation Live. That's why I do it live. Every now and then, the previous show, we had Bob Goshen on here. Great show last week. Ex spy turned motivational speaker, business guru, and consultant. Travels all over the world speaking to Fortune 500 companies. Usually charges $10,000 to $15,000 for a keynote speech, and agreed to come in and do the Patrick Lee show, Midweek Motivation Live, gratis, through my friend Cody. And now Bob is a good friend as well. And we're going to collaborate more in the future. But you never know what you're going to get on this show. One week it's me ranting. The next week it's going to be a great speaker like Bob Goshen. But you'll always get my heart in the show. And I'm going to talk to you about the things that are on my heart. And that's kind of where we're at today. The things that I'm wanting to cover with all of you, current events and how they affect our friends and neighbors. And many of you, wherever you live, you have neighbors, right? You may live on a ranch a couple of miles away from somebody, but you do have a neighbor. You live in town. Some of you live in an area so close that you could reach out and touch your neighbor's house. But all of these events, when they happen, like these fires, you start seeing the resilience in people come forward. And as we are pushed to our limits, stretched to our limits by current events, we can talk about the government, and we're going to talk about a little bit about the government. We're going to talk about resources, but we see people, when things are not going the way they want, people start acting out. You have a lot of bad actors, right? We have a number of bad actors in our nation. They've been let in through our southern border. We have a number of bad actors in our nation right now because we have a coddled and babysat generation of people that have had their hands out to the government tit for too many years, looking for free money, for free phones, for free everything. And when they don't get it, they go and ravage a neighborhood. They break the windows out and they kick in the doors and they just go in and steal. And we see these videos all over the country happening, especially in our major cities and metropolitan areas, where people just go up to a Versace store or they go to the Apple store and they throw a brick through the window. They all come in and they rip off and steal all of the merchandise in the store, basically claiming that we own this because we're repressed. We've been held down. It's the man trying to keep a brother down, whatever you want to call it. And they feel like they are owed some kind of reparation in their life. But what it really amounts to is a forced reaction, in my opinion. It's a forced reaction by the overall climate that has been force fed to us by those who claim to have power over us, the government. And there's a big difference in how we react when we feel like it's the government who is against us, those in power against us, and those events happen. And while they are tragic, you blame the person for reacting to the lifestyle that they have. And then you have these natural disasters that happen, and you see that the real state of good and decent mankind is exactly the opposite. And they don't turn around and start looting the homes of their neighbors when they're going through a fire. When there's a natural disaster, you don't see everyone going around and breaking in, kicking in the doors of their neighbors just so they can steal their TV or whatever money may have been left behind, or guns or ammunition may have been left behind. You see good people come together and help their fellow man. And these are the kind of people that are the backbone of America, the backbone of this nation, the people that built this nation and still raise their kids right. And so those kids know the difference between good and evil. Our history goes all the way back to the garden, people. The tree that God told Adam and Eve not to eat from was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Because if they didn't know what evil was, they were innocent in whatever they did. Does that make sense? I hope it does. When people know to do right and do wrong anyway, to them that is sin. Does it mean that it's sin to you and me? If people know to do wrong and they choose not to, that's exercising restraint and building character. What I'm seeing all around the panhandle of Texas when this natural event happens, this was not a government forced energy beam that was shot down into the panhandle of Texas, starting fires to cause a riot. These were fires that happen here every couple of years. Whether it's a cigarette butt getting thrown out of a window, or it's a spark from a chain on the pavement, as someone's chain may have come off on an RV or a fifth wheel or a trailer going down the road. Could have been anything that starts these little fires. Could have been a backyard fire, could have been someone grilling. All of these little fires spring up in various places for multiple various reasons. And when that happens, we see the tragedy and the good people stand up. It's the bad people that want to come in and find a way to manipulate the situation or have some kind of forced reparation mindset that I have a right to go in and steal from my brother or my sister, whatever they may not be able to stay around and protect. Is that the kind of country we want to live in? Is that the kind of people that we want to be? Hey, Gary, Pete, other people tuning in, watching the show. No, I don't believe that anyone that watches my show is that kind of a person. I don't believe that anyone who is looking for some motivation, for some truth, maybe some peace and some guidance in their life is that kind of a person. But I'm sickened by the things that we continue to see every day. Our southern border has been literally forced invaded by, the numbers could be right or wrong. We're being told over 11 million people. Most of them, the majority of them, fighting age, military age, single males, not women and children. You do see the videos now and then of the women and children. I understand that. But a vast majority of them are fighting age, single males, not just Hispanic, but from all countries all over the world, including China and the Middle East, where they claim to have been leaving a war-ravaged country, but they are actually warriors themselves. We have known terrorists that are entering our country, many of them that are being caught, many of them that are not. And now we're starting to see the stories pop up all over the nation of our young women and daughters being viciously attacked, some of them killed, and the crime rate escalating. We now have liberal governors and mayors of towns crying out that they are overloaded, when a year ago they were begging us not to stop the influx of people through our southern border. So we started busing all of these people to their towns, and now they see what we see, and they realize that they are wrong and that we are right, and we have to get this under control. Not all of them, but some of them. It is the right of the good person to stand up and protect what is theirs and their family members and their friends. That is a right we have as a citizen of America. Many of those rights we feel like have been suppressed, and we feel desperate, maybe displaced, and we don't know how to act. What I would urge you to do, number one, of course, is to continue to rely on your faith. Exercise your faith. Pray for the peace of our nation as you pray for the peace of Israel. Pray for the wisdom of our government to get itself in check. Pray for the resilience of the American people to stand up against tyranny in every shape and form. Pray that we have a giant eraser that takes it erases that yellow streak down the backbones of so many people that we know that just say there's nothing we can do, and they just take it. Is this show a call to action? Absolutely. In a national tragedy like we are seeing now, I believe it is every man and woman's duty to pray for their nation. Number one, stay strong and resilient in their faith that God has a better plan for all of us, and that he will not allow harm to come near us or our abode. Pray for protection over your own property. Pray for protection of those that you know, love, and trust. Right? Your top five, your sphere. Staying close to those who matter. In this world of social media, and I'm not turning here, but continuing. In this world of social media, everyone's goal is to be a influencer, right? You want to be in the know about everything and everybody at all times. So you become a source that everyone runs to when something's going on. Anytime someone doesn't know what's going on, they want to talk to you. Well, how do you, as a social media influencer or a person who is very active on social media, how do you think for a moment that you have the answers for everything and everybody? Hello, Valerie. Good to see you watching too. Pastor Jason, my brother from another mother. Awesome. How do you think for 1 minute that you have the power, the influence, the knowledge to have the answers for everybody? We don't. So when we see these things happening, when we see a tragedy happening, a natural tragedy happening, and we see the resilience of the people banding together to come together to help those in need versus the forced tragedy that is being presented or forced upon us by those in power over us, and the bad actors come in and they want to take advantage of everyone who has gone through the tragedy. How do you know the difference? How do you decide what to do? Are you owed anything you didn't work for? Absolutely not. Do you have the power in and of yourself to make a difference in the world? Maybe not. But do you have a power or an influence in those that you know, love, and trust that you can talk to, help, come alongside, link arms with, and work with that person because they're in your sphere? Yes, you do. As much or as little as you may want to believe it, you have an incredible amount of influence of those in your social circle. Stay close to those who matter. Does everyone on social media matter? No. Does it matter if you get all the likes, loves, and shares? No, not really. Unless your whole life is built on being a social media influencer, And some of those people, that's all they do is make social media posts, and those social media platforms pay them tons of money. When the proverbial you know what hits the fan, are you going to likely run to a social media influencer for assistance to come help you move horses to another pasture when your barn gets burned down? Are you going to run to a social media influencer or a motivational speaker to come pay your bills when you're down on your luck? Are you going to run to a social media influencer to help your small business when government rules and regulations and the onset of artificial intelligence are causing businesses right and left to go under because a computer can do the job better than a human? I think the answer is no. I think that you're going to run to the person who has resources and help that can meet your need. A social media influencer may refer you to a book, and I refer you to a lot of good books. A social media influencer may be a motivational speaker, an inspirational speaker to tell you, hey, you can get through this. I believe in you. God has a better plan for your life. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps no matter what you've lost. Get close to those you love and find a way to move forward. And yes, a motivational speaker can tell you that, and they are good for that. But what really matters when the rubber meets the road is the people with skin on in your life, the people that matter, your family, your friends, your chosen family, your brother from another mother, your sister from another mister. Those are the people that you have influence over and the people that you can help. And I want all of us to develop a lifestyle and a mindset of that. When we are going through tragedy, we band together. When people are trying to oppress us, bad actors, criminals trying to come in, steal, kill, and destroy everything that we have built, everything that we work for, everything that we stand for, we band together as a force and we repel them. We push back against evil. We push back against darkness and we win. We don't allow them in. These are the things that are heavy on my mind as I watched all of these people last night and this morning offering to help, buying water, buying personal hygiene items, buying food stores that we can um, collect and distribute to those areas that need it the most. This is what matters. And staying close to those who matter, those in your community, those in your immediate area that you can influence, those are the ones that matter. Jason called me this morning all the way down from Austin and said, hey, how can we help my family, my brother and sister-in-law out in Oregon praying for us? And they said, it kind of looks like my brother last night said, is this like Texhana, like Lahaina in Hawaii, like a forced energy beam was being directed down? And I said, no, but this is a natural occurrence. It happens here every few years because of the dry land that we live in and the winds, the high winds. A little spark can do a lot of damage in this area. So we have to be very careful with fires in the dry seasons. Now, when we have a rainy year or two, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's very nice living here. The weather is usually mild, not as burning hot as some areas, not as humid as a lot of other areas. And the people here are the salt of the earth. I tell you what, I love the people in the panhandle of Texas. So, but when we have the ability to help those in our immediate area, we should. And I love it that people have been calling and checking in. I truly do. It means the world to us. But that is what is on my mind today. I have seen so many small business owners that have been put upon by everyone when times are good. They ask how they can get something from the small business owner, in the way of sponsorship, in the way of, can you buy jerseys for our T-ball team or whatever? And they always get offended if someone isn't able to just give all of their resources away to every little cause that comes along. And most of my friends are small business owners, or independently employed by themselves, as I am, and they're very giving. We're involved in a lot of nonprofits. But the people here, when times are good, they do ask, and we do give out of the kindness of our heart, out of our overflow, like I teach, not out of our lack. We do what we do so we can have enough of an abundance to give back to the community. You need to get involved in your community. So we don't mind doing that. But now we see this push of AI, and AI is actually upon us. Yes. And I'm not changing gears, but I'm sort of going into this other topic. There is potential damage caused by AI. Is it a plot? I believe that it is. I believe that artificial intelligence is here to stay. I do believe that as humans, we need to get in control of artificial intelligence and use artificial intelligence for a means to an end of making some of our tasks easier, but not to the point that we remove those people in our area, in our marketplace, that it gets to the point that it causes a small business or a medium to large business to go out of business because they can replace humans with artificial intelligence. When you go through a natural disaster, a national disaster, or a forced disaster, are you going to turn to artificial intelligence for help? Or are you going to turn to someone with skin on for help? If there is a service business of 50 people or less, and half of those people are replaced by AI because of forced competition or forced suppression by our government, for that person to stay open, they're going to have to eliminate some human jobs. Now, when these issues come up, is that business going to be able to have people with skin on to help you, to jump in, to fight fires, to provide resources, to provide the services that they do? Or would a disaster then cause that business to fold and go under? Does the government want us to all live in metropolitan areas that they have the ability and the power to turn off a switch and turn off all of your water, all of your power, and control all of your food, and only allow you to live and 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 eat and breathe and have power based on their permission of that? Oh, you're going down a rabbit hole, Patrick. Am I? Is it a rabbit hole? Is artificial intelligence a plot? Are our governments trying to suppress us, cause us to move into these areas that they can control? Why is there a rush to rule and regulate and impose new regulations out in the middle of nowhere when someone wants to go and live off grid, even like the Amish people up north, and they want to come to this farm and say, we're shutting your farm down because you're not putting hormones and steroids into your animals, and you're not going to fertilize your crops and your fields with this government regulated fertilizer that puts damaging compounds and chemicals into the ground. If they want to have an organic farm, the government wants to come and shut them down. If you're selling organic food, it costs twice as much as regular commercially processed food, right? Because they want to regulate that. So if the government can regulate and put such a strong damper on these companies that they go under, they're going to be forced to start relying on artificial intelligence to do some of the tasks that it would normally take a human to do. Then what are all of these people supposed to do when they're forced out of their job? But forced to have insurance, forced to have insurance on their car, forced to carry medical insurance, but then they're unemployed, and then they go on the government resource bandwagon. And when the government can cut you off from food, from water, from power, energy, they've eliminated nearly everything about us that makes us individuals, takes away our pride, our sense of well-being after a job well done, hard work all day. And we just become mindless, numb subjects of the king. I urge you, support small business. Please tell all of your friends to support businesses ran by humans. Don't support businesses, giant conglomerations ran by artificial intelligence and robotic workers. When you have the ability to go and have jerseys for your T-ball team made locally by people making them with a heat press or a screen printer with their own two hands right here in Amarillo or in the surrounding region, use that business. Why do you go eat at national chains that have 1 million chains, 1 million franchises all over the country selling you processed food that's all the same, when you can go to a local restaurant and eat food that's provided, made, created by people with skin on right there, fresh in front of you? Why do you say, well, if I can't get a friend to give me a good deal on a shirt locally, I'll just go to Amazon? Why is Amazon and Temu and Shein and all these other websites so popular? Because you're buying something made in a sweatshop in a foreign nation, by some kid making 50 cents an hour, when you could be getting something produced locally by a person that love and trust in your own market. People in your immediate area are the ones that matter. People with skin on. Those are the people near you that you live with, that that you interact with. Those are the people you need to be doing business with. Why are we giving all of our business everywhere else? Larry says 3D steak. Not exactly. Have you seen that now? They're using these genetic printers to make meat. It's not real. They're making steak. They're making chicken. It's all fake. No one wants to do this. I mean, you see these sci-fi movies from 40 or 50 years ago talking about these things, and now it's becoming real. It's not going to happen. I want to go eat a real steak from a real cow that ate real grass, maybe some real corn, a nice fat cow that has a great ribeye. That's what I want. I'm not eating 3D processed anything. Not going to happen. Guys, that's what's on my heart today. Support those. When bad things happen, good people band together and help their fellow man, their fellow sister, right? And that's what I want to urge all of you to do today. Help those that help you. Stay close to those who matter. That's what's really important. We need to major in the things that are important. And that's kind of it today. I hope I didn't go off too much, but those are the things that if you want to know what Patrick Lee believes, just watch the show a couple of times, because I'll tell you, that's what I believe. Is the government trying to keep a brother down? Absolutely. Are there good people in our government that are fighting the good fight every day? Absolutely. Do I think we need to abolish all politicians? Absolutely not. There are good ones that are fighting for us. Do I think that there is an agenda against the hardworking, self-employed person that is aware of their surroundings and what's going on all around them? Yes, I think the government fears those people, and it causes them to stay awake at night. But they just come up with other plans to try and keep us down. But the resilient spirit of the true American patriot cannot be held down. The strong spirit of the spirit-filled Christian believer has more power over all of the forces of evil. And as Christians, we need to band together and pray. We need to pray to God, to our Creator, for strength, for wisdom, and how to overcome, how to remain strong in our faith, and believe that as we move forward, that God does have everything in control, and that we will come out triumphant on the other side. Those are the things that I believe the most today. I hope this has helped y'all today. I'm going to get off of here and get back to work. God has been very good to us here at the Patrick Lee Group, and we have a lot of properties under contract, and I need to get back to work on that as well. Marlene, get to the office. We'll see you soon. Until next time, this has been Patrick Lee with Midweek Motivation Live. I hope this has helped you today. Like, love, and share the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, click on the link to my digital business card, www.patricklee, in the comments below this video as well. And stay tuned. Come back next week, each and every time. Click on subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for the next show. Until next time, this has been Patrick Lee saying, hey, courage begins at the end of your comfort zone. Go out there and get uncomfortable today. Make a new friend, start a new relationship, help those who matter. Amen. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.